Hey, this is Linda and Charles. Today we are here with Robb Braun. He is the president and CEO of the Leadership Source. He is also a success coach as well as a corporate trainer.
So, I want to stop on that just for a second, talk about hard work. Again, whether you're in a large corporation or you're in a small one-man office, it's all meant to be hard work. None of this stuff comes easy.
Yeah.
Do you remember Randy Pausch? He was a...
Oh, sure. He's the one that gave the talk. It was his last talks before he was leaving the planet.
So listen, if you haven't checked out Randy Pausch, and I'll put it at the end of this video, but you got to go check this out. Randy Pausch was a professor at CMU. Mm-hmm. It's called The Last
Speech.
Yeah. The Last Speech or something like that.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with 7 inoperable liver tumors. Looks healthy. Actually, in his speech, he gets down and does push-up, does hand clap push-ups. So the guy looks healthy, but he knows his time on Earth it's going away. He's made a choice not to be woe is me. Yep. He's still active. He's still contributing. He's still doing things, and he knows that it's hard work. Right? I mean, if anyone had the opportunity or the reason to stop and whine, it would be this individual.
Yeah.
But one thing he said that was profound, at least for me, in that was that hard work. The walls are there for a reason, right? Hard work. The walls are there to show how badly we want it. Yeah. Right? And not everyone's willing, whether you're in a corporate environment or in an entrepreneurial environment, to climb that wall. So embrace the hard work, because that's what separates, that's what differentiates all of us from the other options that are out there.
Yeah, and the separators, and you know this, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I have this little competition with myself to get to my office by 4:30. And sometimes just the fact that I'm doing that, I'm driving in here and I go, no one else in my realm is doing this. So I'm already getting a head start on everybody. And then making sure that when I come here, I'm not just throwing darts at the wall or doing inane things. That I've actually got a plan on what it is that I'm going to be sitting here working on.
Yep, there are no dart
boards. No dart boards. Very good.
So again, we've talked about choice.
Yeah.
What else though is something that is an obstacle for the people that you deal with, that you talk to, that you've created success for?
I think one of them is just really learning how to do people. And one thing I want to preface with all of this is I got nothing on anybody. I really don't. A lot of it is hard work. It's commitment to who it is I want to become. And you said that so clearly earlier. It's not about what I'm doing. So who I'm becoming then shows up in everything that I'm doing. So another obstacle with people is just not learning enough about people and how it is to be in good relationship with them. From a leadership perspective, whether I'm bringing an intern on or I'm hiring employees, it doesn't matter. How do I relate to them? How do I connect with them? How do I find out what it is that inspires them and excites them and wants them to be a part of this with me? Rather than me trying to drill my vision into somebody and trying to get people to move, I got to find out about them. How can I relate to them? The biggest employee problems in organizations, one, they either made bad hires because they were hiring from crisis rather than hiring from a place of trying to fulfill a mission in the organization, and then they didn't get to find out who their people were. And we hear this all the time. Great people not really knowing what's expected of them, or great people feeling frustrated because they're not getting to do all the great things that they were able to bring here because their leadership never bothered to find out what their gifts are, what they're bringing, or who they are. And that right there, the people obstacle, and you've heard over and over, that's sometimes 75, 80, 85% of all my budget is in my people. Mm-hmm. And then my people aren't giving me 100%, or they don't know what it is, or I don't know how to motivate or lead them. Not really bothering to learn bothering to get to know who my people are. I think that's the big one right there. I can't lead them if I don't know who they are. What inspires them, what makes them tick, what their personality style is, any of that. And I think that's a huge, huge obstacle of forward movement.
And that's what you do when you go into a corporation. There's a lot of different exercises you do with the team. Yeah. And that's one of the big things I think that will help them understand their people. And then, get to know them, get to know what makes them tick, know what their skill set is, and then let them fly.
Yep. And get out of this thing that it being about you as the leader.
Yeah.
Because the objective, if I'm a leader of an organization or even a small team, the objective is to become obsolete. They don't need me. Yeah. That I elevate them to the greatest gifts and potential they've got to go. And they're going, Rob, we'll call you when we need you. We got it. We got it. And there's no threat to me. And oftentimes there's this fear of, if I bring 8 players in, what if they're better than me? What if they're smarter than me? Hooray. I ain't the smartest guy. I need people around there. What I know is I have a lot of energy. I got that. I don't think anybody can have energy me. And I want to be able to bring the best on board and to develop the best out of these folks. And it's really interesting when I go into organizations, depending on where a leader is in his own ego stuff, sometimes he's crazy relieved to hear that. It's like, all I gotta do is get to know my people. And there's some are going, I don't know about this. and they're really stuck in this, if I let my people know I care too much, they might take advantage of me, or they might start thinking they're running the show, and it's amazing what goes on out there.
It comes. I'm sitting here shaking my head because we had, and trust me, we're not motivational speakers, we're not organizational improvers, we're just marketers, right? But we had a client a few years back, and we told them about brainstorming, and I assume everyone knows brainstorming. Never heard of it before. And then when we introduced the concept to him,
his company's been around for 30 years, and a lot of his employees have been there 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so before I finish that, it's almost like leadership needs to have a different perspective or way of viewing their number one resource and asset, which is their people.
Their people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly what we saw. So when we said, hey, we need to sit around and brainstorm, he was even beyond apprehensive. It was almost like he was scared to do so, because in doing that, I think he said to us, like, first of all, my people don't have anything to offer, or they're going to take off, or all this stuff. We talked him into it anyway. Thank you.
Yeah. Fear, by the way.
Oh yeah,
fear.
Big
all
time.
kinds of fear. Yeah.
By lunchtime on the first day, and we were doing this for 2 days. By lunchtime on the first day, his response was, wow, I didn't realize my people had all this value. And he was fully involved, fully immersed in brainstorming. We left there uncovering, I think, a lot of negative feelings that some of the people had, kind of like you're talking about.
Sure.
Not feeling appreciated, not feeling valued, not being able to contribute that all out. And then suddenly, because they had these ideas offered up, and everyone around the room, including the CEO and the CFO, heard these things and validated it, they got elevated. Yeah. Like the whole mood in the room changed because of this one exercise.
Isn't that amazing? And I've been bringing on a lot more clients now in the hospitality industry, and so I know hospitality, but I'm listening to some of the experts out there that are like in the top leaders in the hospitality business. And the one thing that struck me more than anything was they make it a point to not only get to know, but to treat their frontline people, who are usually the ones that get treated with the least amount of respect. His frontline people, he gets to know who they are and treats them at least as good as his guests. Because they're the ones that are actually providing the hospitality. So I can give you KPIs and say, this is what you got to do, and this is how you got to smile, and this is how you do all this stuff right here. What he's saying is the way we get people to really feel good and give that kind of service is to give that to them. Give them that same kind of respect and value. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we?
And so this is a question just for everybody, right? You know that when you've experienced that.
Oh, yes.
Right? I can go to Motel 10 down the street, right? Names to me, just making up names. So I can go to Motel 10 down the street, and we have a certain type of experience, or we can go to the Westin or the Hilton, or what's the one over the hill? Ritz-Carlton. And oh my goodness, from the valet. From the valet, completely different experience all the way up.
And it makes every bit of difference. In our stay, whether we're there for pleasure, for business, it makes every bit of difference. Because we're all working hard. We're spending time and energy. I was at a conference recently, working my butt off out there, and I loved it when I was taken care of in between all the things that we're doing out there. And it makes all the difference. So, and that, by the way, and I think that's where businesses can learn to thrive. There's good people out there. They just need to know that they are good people. And thriving is where it's at, making it all happen.